Hey friends, Joey Resendez here. Wanted to do a little bit of a walkthrough on the Ibert Concertino de Camera and the Larghetto section of the second movement. So, I did a walkthrough video on the first movement. It's gotta be like maybe over a year ago. So I think it's it's time to do the rest of the piece. So, I'll kind of walk through this with you and maybe give you some fingering tips and suggestions, and hopefully it might help you guys out. All right. So the first two lines are completely solo. There's no accompaniment there. So, and it's the first two measures. There's lots of ways I've heard it done, and I would not really play this in time. I mean, I wouldn't think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, ba bum bum. That just sounds ridiculous. So it's free. But you have to follow. You should follow the contour or the closely the rhythms here. I mean, it's not going to be strictly in time. You have to play with good tone, obviously, and good phrasing. I'll give you some breathing suggestions here. So I like to play the first two measures kind of like as a call, and then like an echo almost. So and really kind of taper that. You really want a good decrescendo to kind of fade away into kind of nothing. And I play the second one a little bit softer. And then when we get into this measure 3, we kind of follow the rhythm a little more closely here. That's where I would breathe, might take my first breath there. At the last line, this would be measure 5 after the C sharp. Make sure you're doing whatever you can to bring those C sharps up to pitch, whether it's the octave and third finger. Breathe. You can do a bit of a crescendo down to the low A sharp there. Make sure you use a bis B flat there. Right there. Sorry. So it's just really nice and as beautiful as you can play, okay? Make sure you're covering your C sharps, bringing them up to pitch. Some people elect to breathe after the A sharp. I don't think I would, because I'm breathing, two measures before. Right there is kind of like your climax, and that F flat there in measure 6, 7, 8. And then everything after that is kind of leading into square 24, measure 11. And then the measure 10, when you have the four notes over the bracket, really that means that every single one of those beats is 3/16 notes. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bomb, bomb. Again, it's still solo, so I wouldn't really kind of play those in time. I would probably slow it down a little bit, and then with a nice cue for whether you're playing with an accompanist or an orchestra, make sure you're gonna have a cue into measure 11, especially if you're playing with piano player. The conductor will cue the orchestra. orchestra is your metronome here. Bom, bom, bom. They have those quarter notes in there. Really bring out that E in measure 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's a real good dissonance between yourself and the accompaniment there on that E natural. The measure before, from the C sharp going to the F sharp, this is 11, 12, 13 going into 14. When you hit that F sharp, I would already have my G sharp key down when I go to the F sharp, just to avoid any, do your best to avoid any blippages happening between the F sharp and the G sharp. So, already down. You can keep it down throughout that. Nice. I love that augmented triad there. Probably breathe there after the G sharp to get a good full low C sharp in there. Don't start excuse me, don't start out too loud on the low C sharp. Okay, and that's really kind of build up to that high E up there. And for that high E, I would probably high C sharps are a big problem for me at least in this movement. Really bringing those down. High C sharp is one of the sharpest notes on my instrument, so I do my best to put down, 1, 2, maybe my whole right hand on my high C sharps with the octave key. Sometimes it doesn't really work that well. Going into the high E in measure 23, I would probably, push my E key down and these two to lead up descending into the D natural, into the C sharp in measure 24. Keep those down going into the C sharp, and make sure you taper, which is also going to raise the pitch as it gets softer, so make sure you're really tempering your high C sharp there. And then everybody's favorite part right here, going into square 25, measure 26. I would say 9 out of 10 performances I hear of this, they play no 8 VA. And even some of the very best players I've ever heard choose not to elect to take the octave here. The reason why it's there is Sigurd Roscher commissioned this work, and he was a champion of the altissimo register at the time, and he kind of demonstrated to these composers the range of the saxophone, what it could do, and Ibert wanted to, I'm sure at Sigurd Roscher's suggestion that he write, a very high passage in here. It's really, if it's done very well, I really like it. But I think a lot of the times, people try this and it just doesn't. Either the tuning's bad or there's response issues. Make good choices there. Okay, I mean. If you're playing it in the octave that's written, not 8 VA, I would do that same thing with my C sharps and my high E. And then from right there, measure 4, 5, 6, 27 for your C sharp there. I might just put down 6, my ring finger, my right hand for the high C sharp. Because when you go down to the A there, that's a really good, you know, fingering to do with an A with the octave key. It brings it down to pitch. Really decay that into nothing. Now, if you want to do the 8 VA, I'll give you some pointers here. I just put out a video a couple hours ago of fingerings you can do that are a little more in tune on the alto saxophone. So what I do here is I start the F sharp with a high F sharp with my, just like an A with my high F sharp key. Okay, and then for the G, 1 3 1 B flat. So that's the only one I'm really have to be careful about. Well, I have to be careful in the whole thing if I'm going to play AVA, but be sure to not create an accent with the cross fingering that happens there. And then for the A, 1 3 and the side C. Okay, and then for the B, 2 3, palm key D, side C. And then for high C sharp, it's overblow a palm key E. So high C sharp is like a high E, or finger it like a high E, palm key E. And then for the altissimo E, what I did just there is I do 1 2 like I'm fingering an A, and I put my palm key D down. Kind of works. Whoops. You can also do the 1 3. I'm sorry, octave key, and then the right hand 1 3 E flat for the altissimo E. You can add your palm key D to it if it's a little bit flat. And then for the D, altissimo D after it, just front F. And then the same fingerings through the end of that passage. Let's see if I can play through it without failing spectacularly. Like I said, it's really, really difficult. You know, I bet a lot of you watching this right now are probably in high school, and I'm 41 years old, and I'm not saying there's no high school players that can play this, because there obviously are, but I've had my share of struggles with this, and if I were to perform this, you know, if I had a year to prepare this and to play it, I probably would still take it down the octave. Just my suggestion there. And then you have a bunch of rest here, you know, 12 measures of rest. And then really, really keep time here. Not too soft in this first entrance. And remember, C sharp's got to be in tune, so make sure you cover those or add the side C key to them, whatever you need to do. That going up to the D, I would definitely do a palm D there, and I would do it with my covered C sharp fingering and adding the side E flat key. That's the second palm key. this next one is the soft one. Really, really sotto voce here. No vibrato on that last note, just nice, good straight tone until the conductor or your piano player, bam, and then you're into the animato molto. I hope this helps you out a little bit. I know the slow movement, I mean, the notes aren't going to be a big problem for you guys unless you try to do this AVA, but there's a lot of nuance in here and phrasing and things like that. And I would really suggest just listening to really, really great recordings. Yeah, and so that's it. I hope this helps you guys. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And stick with me. I'll probably do a video on the animato molto very soon. So thanks again for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.